Ever since I was a little girl, I had the dream that I wanted to have a home, and I wanted to make it a home. Well, today I get to start one of my dreams, and that is by having a garden. This week, I'm going to take you along with me while we make some raised garden beds. So the first thing Jay and I are going to do, we are going to measure our work area so we can decide how much space we are working with, and that will give us a better idea of how big we want our garden beds and how many we want to make. The first thing I did was sit down and make a plan. I knew that this would give me a definite idea of what I wanted out of my garden. I also ran it by my husband so we could bounce some ideas off of each other. I already came up with a plan.
All right, let's see it.
So here's the barn side. This side is 20 feet long. If you pause the video here, you can see a picture of the plan I drew up for the garden. We are gonna go get the supplies for our raised garden beds. After lots of research, I decided that the material that would be best suited for my raised garden beds would be cedar. It is a rot-resistant wood, can last many years, and is relatively cheap to buy. In case you didn't know, Home Depot will cut the wood that you purchase from them for free. We were able to just give them the measurements that we needed our projects cut down to, and they took it from there. This was such a blessing to us, not only because we don't own many power tools, but because it saved us so much time. Now we'll live off the land.
Oh yeah.
When we got home for the night, we unloaded all of our wood into our barn. That way, if it were to get wet, it wouldn't warp before we were ready to work with it. We are out of screws, and Jay needs to cut some pieces for the bottom of the beds to hold some weight. So we're going to go over to my parents or my brothers to see if they have some screws that we can use. Hey everyone, this is my dad. And if I need anything, he has it. Today we're coming for screws and a drill.
We can do it, Summer. That's why we are dads, to help our kids out.
So I'm back at home and I got screws, so that's good. Didn't have to go to the store to get any because my dad had a whole box that I could use. These are 2.5-inch screws. Before we were using 3-inch screws, but these will work just fine. So now we're gonna go over to my in-laws' house and we are gonna go see Jay. He is cutting the braces for the bottom of our beds. After determining what wood you want to use, you will need 4 8-foot boards that will be used for the length of your bed. You will also need 3 12-foot boards that will be cut into 3-foot pieces. These pieces will be used for the width of your bed as well as the bottom braces. For the legs of the bed, we used landscape lumber. That was 8 feet long, and we had it cut in half. You also need some workers that are willing to get the job done. I am starting this with a little disclaimer. Since I messed up and had Home Depot cut our posts in half instead of having them cut down to 36 inches, we had to make some minor adjustments, which is why you'll be seeing us use cinder blocks. If your boards are cut to the correct size, you'll be able to assemble them right on the ground. Once we figured out the height we truly wanted our beds to be at, we were ready to screw on our 3-foot boards to our posts. First, I drilled a pilot hole, and then I used a 2.5-inch screw to screw them into the posts. For the length of our beds, I knew I wanted 8-foot long beds. This made it simple buying wood because we were able to just buy 8-foot boards. Once we were done with the first row of boards, we went ahead and did the exact same thing to the second row. The second row definitely went a lot faster, since we could just line up our boards with the first row. To save some time, we only put 1 screw in at each end of the boards. Then at the end came back and put the second screw in. I went ahead of Jay and made a pilot hole, and then he followed behind me and put the screw in. For the bottom of the bed, we were able to use some wood we had laying around at home. If you are purchasing all of your wood for your beds, you will need 2 12-foot boards cut into 3-foot pieces. Once we had the boards placed where we wanted them, we went ahead and screwed them in. So when we bought our landscape lumber, they were 8-foot posts, and we had them cut down into 4-foot posts, which is too high for a garden bed. So we made them 36 inches high, and then now I'm just going to chainsaw this off. I don't think I can do it. I don't know if I'm strong enough. One more and this is all you. These will make perfect firewood.
Oh.
We have 3 left and the chainsaw's running out of battery.
Time to get out the handsaw, Summer. You can finish it up.
I'm not afraid to do work, but I'm not handsawing that.
Well, during any project, it's always good to learn a lesson. And you know, back in the day, they didn't have chainsaws, so got to do, you know, just got to end it with some hands-on. It's not happening. We can't leave that there. Not happening.
We're back again, trying to cut off his leg with another saw.
Battery of the chainsaw ran out, but battery of my arms did not.
We're gonna go put the wire in the bottom of the garden beds. I'm gonna bring you outside to show you guys, but I can't do much explaining out there because it's super windy and it will just sound staticky. So, for the bottom of the garden beds, I am using galvanized hardware cloth, and this is what it looks like. I got mine at Menards. As you guys can see, I got the 1/2 inch If they had a 1/4 inch, I probably would have gotten that, but they didn't. So I went with a 1/2 inch, which works perfectly because it's 3 feet wide, which is exactly what our garden beds are, and then we will just cut it 8 feet long. To cut the corners, we just laid the hardware cloth on top of the post and cut around it. Today is an exciting day because we are getting the dirt delivered for our garden beds. Next up was landscape fabric. I bought a roll that was 100 feet long and had a 20-year weed barrier. I was able to set the roll in the bed and roll it out to the length needed. I did need 2 rows of this in each bed since I wanted the fabric to go up the side of the bed some to cover all holes well. Next, I stapled it to the side of the bed to keep the wind from blowing it and to fully cover all holes and cracks. I had a blast making these garden beds, and I hope you found this video useful. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe.